There is more inside you, more precision, more power, more control. Something steady beneath the noise, something disciplined beneath the rush. Right now, life feels reactive, fast, chaotic, demanding. Decisions pile up, expectations rise, pressure whispers that you must move quickly. You move, but are you moving with strategy? Pause. What if this is the moment everything changes for you? Not because circumstances soften, not because obstacles disappear, but because you become sharper, stronger in thought, calmer in execution, clearer in direction. Imagine walking into any challenge composed, seeing what others overlook, thinking 3 steps ahead while they struggle with one. While others panic, you position. While others react, you calculate. While others hesitate, you execute. This is not luck. This is not talent alone. This is trained awareness. This is disciplined thinking. This is strategic command. And once you master it, you win differently. You move differently. You speak differently. You speak differently. You lead differently. You stop chasing outcomes. You start designing them. Feel that shift. The game changes the moment your mind changes. You stop playing emotionally. You stop playing intelligently. Stand still. Breathe deeply. Focus your thoughts. Everything changes now. Chapter 1. The Strategic Awakening. Awareness precedes strategy. Before you calculate, before you position, before you move with power, you must see clearly. Most people do not lose because they lack strength. They lose because they lack awareness. They move too quickly. They speak too soon. They decide before understanding the field. Not you, not anymore. Right now you stand at the beginning of a shift. A quiet shift, a powerful one. The difference between reacting and responding will redefine your life. Reacting is automatic, emotional, immediate. Responding is measured, intentional, controlled. Reacting is noise. Responding is direction. You have reacted before. Everyone has. A sharp comment, a missed opportunity, a rushed decision. You felt the pressure and moved instantly. It felt necessary. It felt urgent. But urgency is not always importance. Pause there. Let that settle. Imagine a warrior standing at the edge of a battlefield. The noise is loud. Dust rises. Opponents move. Energy surges. The inexperienced fighter charges forward, driven by emotion, eager to prove strength. The master does not rush. The master does not rush. The master studies. Wind direction. Terrain shifts. Opponent posture. The master understands one truth. Clarity wins before combat begins. You are that warrior now. Stand still. Watch closely. Pause before action. These are not small commands. They are foundations. Calm observation feels slow at first. It feels unfamiliar. Your old self was comfortable in motion. Quick replies, fast decisions, immediate reactions. But speed without awareness creates weakness. You are not weak, you are becoming deliberate. Think of the last time you moved too quickly. A conversation where emotion rose, a choice made without full understanding. The tension that followed, the consequences that unfolded. Feel that tension, not to regret, not to judge, to recognize. Awareness begins with honesty. Your old self reacted emotionally. It felt justified. It felt powerful in the moment. But power without clarity fades. The new you observes. You watch patterns. You listen to tone. You notice timing. You see what is said and what is not said. Observation is not said. Observation is not passive. It is strategic preparation. When you enter a room, you no longer rush to fill silence. You scan energy. You sense direction. You assess before you engage. Imagine entering conversations already prepared. Imagine seeing outcomes before they unfold. You walk in calm. Others speak quickly. You listen deeply. While they reveal intention, you gather information. While they push, you position. That is awareness. That is power. Calm does not mean weakness. Silence does not mean uncertainty. Stillness does not mean hesitation. It means control. Your old self confused movement with progress. The new you understands that stillness can be advantage. Stand still. Watch closely. Pause before action. Repeat it internally. Stand still. Watch closely. Pause before action. The tension of past mistakes fades when awareness becomes habit. You begin to notice triggers before they control you. You feel emotion rising, and instead of reacting, you breathe slowly. You observe your own thoughts. You ask, what is actually happening here? What am I missing? What is the long-term outcome? This is the awakening. You are no longer a participant swept by momentum. You are a strategist studying the field. In meetings, you listen first. In conflict, you gather facts. In opportunity, you assess leverage. Every situation becomes a landscape to understand before you act within it. The warrior who studies wins more battles than the one who swings wildly. Awareness gives you time. Time to choose, time to calculate, time to respond with intention. And in that space between stimulus and action, you find control. Your old self lived in reaction, fast emotion, quick defense, immediate agreement or resistance. Your new self creates space. Space creates strength. You begin to notice subtle details. Body language shifts, word choices, timing pauses, market changes, energy shifts in a room. These details were always there. You simply did not slow down enough to see them. Now you do. Awareness sharpens perception. Perception sharpens decision. Decision shapes destiny. Feel the progression. Calm, clarity, control. When tension rises, you do not mirror it. You anchor it. When pressure builds, you do not scatter. You focus. When opportunity appears, you do not chase blindly. You evaluate. This is strategic awakening. You are becoming deliberate. Imagine walking into a negotiation already understanding the emotional landscape. Imagine entering a challenge already anticipating resistance. Imagine facing uncertainty and feeling steady rather than rushed. See it clearly, you standing calm while others rush. See it clearly, you speaking with precision while others ramble. You choosing carefully while others react impulsively. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. Alignment between thought and action. Alignment between intention and execution. Awareness transforms chaos into data. Data becomes direction. Direction becomes dominance. You do not need to control everything. You need to understand enough before you move. Stand still. Watch closely. Pause before action. The repetition installs discipline. Your breathing slows. Your mind steadies. Emotional spikes flatten. Clarity rises. There is power in restraint. There is strength in observation. There is leadership in composure. You are not suppressing emotion. You are mastering it. You are mastering it. You are not hesitating. You are not hesitating. You are preparing. You are not passive. You are strategic. The warrior does not draw the sword without purpose. You do not act without awareness. Feel the shift inside you. It is subtle at first. A slight pause before speaking. A deeper look before deciding. A quiet confidence growing beneath your calm exterior. This is the foundation. Without awareness, strategy collapses. With awareness, strategy becomes natural. You start to see patterns in people, predict outcomes in conversations, recognize cycles in challenges. You begin to think, I've seen this before. And because you have seen it, you are not surprised by it. Surprise weakens. Anticipation strengthens. The world may still move quickly, but you do not have to match its speed blindly. You choose your pace. You choose your response. You choose your moment. Awareness gives you leverage over impulse, and leverage multiplies results. Pause here, close your multiplies results. Pause here, close your eyes for a moment in your mind. Picture the old version of you, reactive, rushed, emotionally pulled by circumstances. Now see the emerging version, calm, observant, deliberate. One is driven, the other directs. Which one leads your future? You already know. Say it internally. I am ready. Feel the words. I am ready. Ready to see clearly. Ready to move intentionally. Ready to think before acting. This is the beginning, the awakening. You are not rushing anymore. You are studying. You are not reacting anymore. You are responding. And as this awareness deepens, something powerful forms beneath the surface. the ability to anticipate before others even recognize what is happening. That ability will shape everything that follows. Chapter 2. Control the inner battlefield. Before you command the outer world, you must command the inner one. Every challenge you face is first processed inside you. Not in the marketplace, not in the meeting room, not in the competition, inside your mind, inside your chest, inside your breath. If your emotions control you, strategy collapses before it begins. You can have intelligence, you can have skill, you can have opportunity, but if pride flares, if anger spikes, if fear tightens your thoughts, clarity disappears. And without clarity, you cannot lead. This is the inner battlefield. It is silent, invisible, constant, and this is where victories are decided. Imagine a general standing before his army. The plan is solid, the strategy precise, the terrain studied, but an insult from the opposing commander strikes his pride. He feels disrespected, challenged, diminished. Emotion rises. He abandons the original plan to prove a point. He attacks too soon. He advances without patience. His army follows his emotion instead of his strategy, and he loses, not because he lacked strength, not because he lacked numbers, but because he lacked control. Pride replaced patience. Impulse replaced intelligence. That general lives inside every person, including you. Your old self reacts instantly. A comment feels personal. A delay feels threatening. A disagreement feels like opposition. You respond fast, you defend quickly, you push back immediately. It feels powerful in the moment, but power without regulation is unstable. Strategic thinking collapses when emotions dominate. This is not about suppressing emotion. Emotion is human. Emotion gives energy. Emotion fuels drive, but emotion must be directed. Lower your voice, slow your breath, hold your position. These are not small habits, they are strategic tools. When tension rises, most people mirror it. Voices increase, movements accelerate, decisions shorten. You will not mirror tension, you will anchor it. Lower your voice. When you speak calmly, you change the energy of the room. You demonstrate control. You signal stability. You remove volatility from the exchange. Slow your breath. Breath regulates thought. Breath stabilizes focus. Breath widens the gap between feeling and reaction. Hold your position. Do not rush to respond. Do not rush to prove. Do not rush to prove. Silence is strength. Silence forces clarity. Silence reveals information. Your old self filled silence quickly, spoke to avoid discomfort, reacted to avoid appearing uncertain. Your new self calculates. When someone challenges you, you pause. You observe their intention. You consider the long-term outcome of your response. When an opportunity excites you, you breathe. You examine the risk. You measure sustainability. When criticism appears, you listen fully before forming conclusions. This is emotional regulation. It is not dramatic. It is disciplined. Picture another scenario. A leader receives unexpected news. Revenue drops, a project fails, a partner withdraws support. The emotional response is immediate. Fear, frustration, anger. An impulsive leader reacts publicly, blames quickly, changes direction rapidly, announces new decisions without reflection. The team feels instability. Confidence weakens, momentum fractures, but the regulated leader pauses. Lower your voice, slow your breath, hold your position. They gather data, they assess facts, they separate emotion from reality, then they act. The difference is not personality, it is control. Calm is power. When you master your internal reactions, you gain influence over external outcomes. Emotion can narrow your vision. It focuses you on immediate pain or immediate pleasure. Strategy requires a wide lens. You must see beyond the moment. You must think beyond the feeling. Your old self reacted to protect ego, to defend image, to prove competence. Your new self protects position, protects leverage, protects long-term advantage. There is a tension that rises when you choose not to react immediately. It feels uncomfortable. It feels exposed. It feels as though you are giving away power. You are not. You are building it. Every delayed reaction strengthens your discipline. Every measured response sharpens your authority. Consider conflict, words exchanged, tone elevated, accusations implied. The reactive mind prepares counter-arguments before listening fully. It interrupts, it escalates. The strategic mind listens first, observes patterns, identifies underlying concerns, then responds precisely. Precision defeats chaos. Emotional control does not eliminate feeling, it refines it. You still care, you still desire, you still feel urgency, but you do not surrender to it. You direct it. Lower your voice, even when the room grows louder. Slow your breath, even when the room grows louder. Slow your breath, even when the situation feels urgent. Hold your position, even when pride demands movement. Remember the general who lost because of pride. His army did not fail him. His strategy did not fail him. His emotion failed him. You will not repeat that pattern. You are training your nervous system to serve your ambition. Pressure tests identity. When pressure rises, you reveal who you truly are. Do you become reactive, or do you become refined? This is your inner battlefield. No one sees it but you. No one hears the debate but you. But every external result reflects its outcome. Strategic thinking requires space. Space between stimulus and action. Space between feeling and decision. You create that space with breath, with silence, with discipline. There will be moments when your heart accelerates, when adrenaline surges, when your thoughts race ahead. In those moments, anchor yourself, lower your voice, slow your breath, hold your position. Let the emotional wave pass before you act. You are not weak for pausing. You are powerful for choosing. Your old self reacted instantly. Your new self calculates. Calculation requires composure. Composure requires awareness requires intention. Feel the shift inside you. Instead of rushing, you center. Instead of defending, you observe. Instead of proving, you position. Calm is not absence of strength. Calm is controlled strength. Imagine entering a high-stakes negotiation. Others speak quickly, they push aggressively, they attempt to provoke urgency. You remain steady. You ask measured questions. You respond without visible agitation. Your presence alone alters dynamic. That is power. Imagine facing criticism publicly. Instead of defending emotionally, you acknowledge calmly. You clarify facts. You maintain dignity. Observers notice. Trust builds. Authority strengthens. Emotional mastery amplifies strategic clarity. The inner battlefield will always exist. Triggers will appear. Pressure will rise. Competition will intensify. But you are no longer unprepared. You have tools. Lower your voice. Slow your breath. Hold your position. Repeat them internally until they become automatic. The more controlled you become internally, the more unpredictable you become externally. Others cannot manipulate what they cannot trigger. Others cannot destabilize what they cannot shake. You rise above emotional noise. You think clearly under stress. You act intentionally under pressure. This is leadership. This is resilience. This is strength refined into discipline. Calm is power. Say it internally. Calm is power. Feel it internally. Calm is power. Feel it settle. You are not suppressing fire. You are containing it. You are not removing passion, you are directing it. There is relief in control, relief in knowing that no external event dictates your reaction. You choose, you decide, you respond. And as you master this inner battlefield, you will discover something profound. The world becomes slower, not because it changes, but because you do. You see more. You think deeper, you act cleaner, your emotional steadiness becomes your advantage. This chapter closes not with noise, but with grounding. Stand tall, breathe deeply, lower your voice, slow your breath, hold your position. You are not the reactive version of yesterday. You are the composed strategist of today. And from this composure, something even greater begins to form. The ability to think beyond the present moment, to see further than the immediate emotion, to design outcomes instead of chasing them. Say it clearly, I rise. Chapter 3. Think in long horizons. Most people solve for today. They chase immediate relief, immediate results, immediate recognition, and because of that, they remain trapped in short cycles. You are not here for short cycles. You are here the long horizons. Stop solving for today. Start positioning for tomorrow. There is a difference between movement and momentum. Movement feels productive. Momentum builds power over time. Strategic thinkers understand one principle: what you plant now determines what you harvest later. Picture two individuals standing in the same field. One searches for fruit already grown. He runs from tree to tree, grabbing what he can. When fruit runs out, he panics. He searches again. He depends on what already exists. The other kneels. He plants seeds. He plants seeds. He waters soil. He protects roots. At first it looks slower, it feels invisible. Nothing impressive appears above the surface. But seasons pass. The one who chased fruit keeps running. The one who planted seeds begins harvesting orchards. This is long horizon thinking. You have experienced impatience, the desire to see results immediately, the tension of waiting, the frustration when progress feels delayed. That frustration is normal. But impatience destroys leverage. Zoom out, see further, wait strategically, zoom out. Instead of asking, what solves this today? Ask, what builds advantage over years? Instead of chasing applause, build skill. Instead of demanding quick returns, build systems. Instead of proving yourself now, position yourself quietly. Short-term thinking feels exciting. It gives quick validation. It satisfies emotion. Long-term thinking feels disciplined. It requires trust. It requires belief in outcomes not yet visible. You are learning to trust what you build. There will be moments when others appear to advance quickly. Promotions, recognition, sudden success. It will test your patience. You will feel the pull to rush. Pause, zoom out, see further. Ask yourself, what is sustainable? What compounds? What multiplies with time? Long horizons require leverage thinking. Leverage is doing something once that continues working for you repeatedly, learning a skill deeply instead of superficially, building relationships intentionally instead of transactionally, designing systems instead of reacting daily. Every decision either drains you or multiplies you. The impatient mind seeks reward now. The strategic mind invests. Delayed gratification is not denial, it is design. You sacrifice today not because you lack options, but because you see something greater ahead. There is power in saying no to immediate comfort, power in declining distractions, power in choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure. Frustration will visit you when effort does not immediately pay, when discipline feels unnoticed, when your progress seems quiet compared to loud success around you. This is where identity shifts. You are no longer desperate, you are positioned. Desperation rushes, positioning waits with intention. Desperation reacts to pressure. Positioning anticipates cycles. You are building capacity. Capacity compounds. Imagine 5 years shaped by decisions made calmly today. Picture it clearly. The skills you commit to mastering now become second nature. The discipline you strengthen now becomes stability. The network you nurture now becomes influence. The reputation you protect now becomes authority. 5 years is shaped by today's patience. Zoom out, see further, wait strategically. There is relief in long-term thinking, relief from urgency, relief from comparison, relief from emotional decision-making. When you think long-term, small setbacks shrink. A delayed opportunity does not shake you. A temporary obstacle does not threaten you, because you are not measuring days, you are measuring years. Planting seeds requires faith in growth cycles. You prepare soil before fruit appears. You protect roots before branches spread. You water consistently without visible reward. Strategic patience is active. It is not waiting idly. It is building silently. The impatient mind asks, why not now? The strategic mind asks, what ensures later? You are building foundations. Strong foundations are invisible at first, but everything stable rests upon them. There will be sacrifices. You will decline certain comforts. You will reduce distractions. You will choose learning over leisure at times. Not because life must be severe, but because vision demands focus. Zoom out, see further, wait strategically. Feel the tension of impatience rise within you, a voice that says, move faster, do more, achieve quickly. Acknowledge it, then respond calmly. I am building. Long horizons reduce emotional volatility. You stop chasing every opportunity. You select only those aligned with direction. You stop reacting to every trend. You commit to steady progression. Positioning creates power. When you build slowly and deliberately, you become difficult to compete with. Others sprint and exhaust themselves. You pace and expand. Imagine your future self looking back at this moment, grateful for your patience, grateful for your discipline, grateful you did not trade long-term impact for short-term validation. Imagine the compounding effect of daily strategic decisions, small habits repeated, focused learning sustained, investments nurtured, relationships strengthened, each one small alone, together unstoppable. You are no longer chasing fruit, you are cultivating orchards. Think in years, think in cycles, think in legacy. Zoom out, see further, wait strategically. When emotion pressures you to react immediately, ask, does this matter long-term? When temptation invites distraction, ask, does this build leverage? When frustration whispers urgency, ask, what is my horizon? Your horizon defines your behavior. If your horizon is short, your decisions are reactive. If your horizon is long, your decisions are measured. You begin to design your path. You evaluate opportunities not by speed, but by sustainability. You calculate risk not by fear, but by future value. The relief of long-horizon thinking is profound. You stop racing others. You start racing your potential. Comparison fades when your timeline extends. Impatience transforms into discipline. Discipline transforms into compounding advantage. And compounding advantage transforms into dominance over time. You are not behind. You are building. You are not slow. You are strategic. You are no longer desperate. You are positioned. Feel the confidence in that identity. Positioned, rooted, intentional. When storms appear, shallow roots collapse. Deep roots endure. Your patience deepens your roots. Your sacrifice strengthens your structure. Your vision extends your reach. Imagine 5 years shaped by decisions made calmly today. See the stability. See the leadership. See the leadership. That future is not accidental. It is planted. You are planting now. Every disciplined choice is a seed. Every focused hour is water. Every strategic refusal is protection. Zoom out. See further. Wait strategically. Refusal is protection. Zoom out. See further. Wait strategically. This chapter does not end with urgency. It ends with clarity. You are playing a longer game, a deeper game, a game where timing matters more than speed. And as your horizon expands, something else begins to form. The ability to anticipate obstacles before they rise, to prepare before pressure appears, to think not just long-term but ahead of the present moment. That is where true strategic advantage begins. Chapter 4. The power of anticipation strategy is not only about what is happening now, it is about what happens next, and after that. The difference between ordinary thinking and strategic thinking is anticipation. Most people respond to events as they unfold. Strategic thinkers predict patterns before they fully appear. They expect resistance. They assume friction. They prepare for complexity, not with fear, with clarity. Life does not move in straight lines. Every goal invites challenge. Every level invites pressure. Every decision triggers reaction. If you do not anticipate this, resistance feels personal. If you do anticipate it, resistance becomes part of the design. Ask what happens next. When you make a move, what follows? When you speak, what response emerges? When you advance, who reacts? Ask what happens next. A chess master does not stare at the piece in his hand. He sees the board. He calculates sequences. He predicts counters. He visualizes 5 moves ahead. He understands something powerful. The move you make now only matters in relation to the moves that follow. You are learning to see the board, not just the piece. In business, in leadership, in personal growth, every action creates reaction. Predict patterns, expect resistance. This is not pessimism, it is preparation. When you set a higher standard, resistance appears. When you increase discipline, distractions intensify. When you rise, some push back. Expect it, do not be surprised by it. Surprise weakens momentum, anticipation strengthens it. Ask what happens next. If you take on greater responsibility, what pressures will follow? If you improve your skill, what expectations will increase? If you step into leadership, what scrutiny will emerge? Plan for resistance. Preparation dissolves panic. Imagine you are preparing for an important presentation. You have your message ready, your data organized, your delivery practiced, but anticipation asks deeper questions. What objections might arise? What challenges could be raised? What emotional reactions might surface? Prepare twice. Prepare your message. And prepare for resistance. The emotional rise begins when obstacles appear without warning. A sudden problem, a delayed response, an unexpected setback. The unprepared mind reacts with frustration. The anticipating mind says, I expected this. Feel the difference. One feels attacked, the other feels activated. Ask what happens next. When you launch a project, what obstacles are likely? Resource limitations, time pressure, criticism? Plan for resistance. When you pursue growth, what temptations might distract you? Comfort, doubt, comparison. Prepare twice. Prepare your effort and prepare your endurance. Strategic anticipation transforms chaos into sequence. You stop being caught off guard. You stop feeling destabilized. You begin to move with quiet certainty. The chess master does not fear the opponent's move. He predicted it. He welcomes it, because he already planned his response. You are not merely reacting to life. You are positioning ahead of it. Think ahead, move ahead, win ahead, stay sharp. This is your first transformation peak. Think ahead. When others focus on immediate gain, you calculate future impact. Move ahead. When others wait for certainty, you prepare for momentum. Win ahead. When others respond late, you act early. Stay sharp. When others relax after small victories, you continue scanning the horizon. Anticipation requires mental energy. It requires focus. It requires discipline. But it grants confidence, relief through preparedness confidence. Imagine entering a negotiation knowing the likely objections. Imagine entering a challenge having already mapped possible outcomes. Imagine stepping into uncertainty with contingency plans prepared. You feel steady, not because the situation is easy, but because you are ready. Predict patterns. Human behavior follows patterns. Market trends follow cycles. Emotions follow triggers. The more you observe, the more you recognize repetition. Conflict escalates when pride meets pride. Projects stall when clarity weakens. Momentum builds when consistency compounds. Study patterns. Expect resistance. Every expansion creates tension. Every decision shifts balance. If you rise, friction increases. That friction is not a sign to retreat. It is a signal you are advancing. Ask what happens next. If I succeed here, what pressure follows? If I grow here, what responsibility increases? Plan for resistance. When you anticipate difficulty, you design buffers. You build reserves. You strengthen foundations. Prepare twice. Prepare for success. Prepare for challenge. Both require readiness. There will be moments when something unexpected appears. A sudden change, a sharp criticism, a shift in direction. The reactive mind says, why is this happening? The strategic mind says, I accounted for this possibility. You reduce emotional shock by expecting complexity. You reduce panic by planning alternatives. Think ahead, move ahead, win ahead. Stay sharp. Do not let small victories dull your awareness. Success invites complacency. Complacency invites vulnerability. Strategic thinkers remain alert even in comfort. They ask what happens next even after winning. They prepare for resistance even during momentum. They prepare twice. Imagine you are climbing a mountain. The first incline feels manageable. Energy is high. Confidence rises. But anticipation asks, what about the next slope? What about fatigue? What about weather change? You pace yourself, you conserve strength, you prepare for steeper terrain. This is anticipation in action. You do not climb blindly. You climb intelligently. Relief comes from knowing you are not at the mercy of surprise. Relief comes from knowing you have thought ahead. Preparedness builds composure. Composure builds authority. Authority builds influence. When others scramble, you stabilize. When others hesitate, you advance. When others complain, you adapt. Ask what happens next. Make it a habit. Before every major decision, ask it. Before every commitment, ask it. Before every expansion, ask it. You are building a mental habit of projection. Projection without fear. Projection with clarity. You are no longer hoping outcomes unfold smoothly. You are designing pathways through resistance. Expect resistance. Growth without resistance does not exist. Anticipation converts resistance into rehearsal. You rehearse mentally. You imagine obstacles. You prepare responses. This mental simulation strengthens you. When the real moment arrives, it feels familiar. Familiarity reduces anxiety. Preparedness increases precision. Think ahead, move ahead, win ahead, stay sharp. You feel the shift now. You are not only thinking long-term, you are thinking forward from the present. 5 moves ahead, 2 obstacles ahead, 2 obstacles ahead, 3 consequences ahead. You see sequences, you see chains of reaction. You begin to operate on a different level. This level creates advantage because most people think only one move at a time. You think in layers. You see how today influences tomorrow. You see how one conversation shapes reputation. You see how one decision compounds impact. Anticipation makes you proactive. Proactivity reduces regret. Regret fades when preparation rises. Plan for resistance. Prepare twice. Ask what happens next. And when challenges appear, because they will, you will not freeze, you will not panic, you will not shrink, you will adjust, you will respond, you will adapt, because you already saw it coming. That confidence is quiet, but it is powerful. And as you master anticipation, a new dimension of strategy begins to form. The ability not just to prepare for resistance, but to position yourself where leverage multiplies your effort. That is where strategy becomes intelligent efficiency. Chapter 5. Leverage over effort is respected. Hard work is admired, but effort without strategy exhausts more than it elevates. There is a difference between pushing hard and moving intelligently. You have pushed hard before, long hours, constant motion, relentless activity. It felt productive, it felt disciplined, but did it multiply? Did it compound? Or did it simply consume energy? Strategic thinkers understand something most people overlook. Leverage beats raw effort. Work smart before working hard. Effort is force. Leverage is direction. Force without direction scatters. Force with leverage multiplies. Picture 2 climbers at the base of a mountain. Both are strong, both are determined, both want the summit. The first climber tightens his grip and begins immediately. He rushes upward. He grabs whatever rock is near. He moves fast. He feels powerful in motion. The second climber pauses. He studies the slope. He examines the terrain. He identifies loose stone and stable ground. He maps the path before taking the first step. The first climber sweats quickly, burns energy, encounters unstable ledges, slips, regains footing, climbs again, The second climber moves slower at first, but he moves efficiently. Fewer wasted motions, fewer missteps, less recovery needed. Hours later, the difference becomes obvious. The one who rushed is fatigued. The one who brushed is fatigued. The one who planned is ascending steadily. Effort alone did not decide the outcome. Positioning did. Assess first. Choose wisely. Multiply impact. Assess first. Before committing energy, ask, is this the highest leverage action available? Before saying yes, ask, does this align with long-term direction? Before pushing harder, ask, can this be done smarter? Your old self worked emotionally. When pressure increased, you increased effort. When competition intensified, you worked longer. When uncertainty rose, you pushed harder. That instinct is natural, but it is incomplete. Your new self works intelligently. Instead of reacting with force, you respond with calculation. You look for leverage points. Leverage is the small action that creates large outcomes. Learning a core skill deeply instead of chasing many shallow ones. Automating processes instead of repeating tasks endlessly. Building systems instead of solving the same problem daily. Strategic positioning reduces friction. Blind hustle increases it. There is tension in slowing down before acting. It feels counterintuitive. You want progress. You want results. You want movement. But movement without direction is noise. Assess first. When opportunity appears, do not chase it immediately. Examine it. Does it multiply your time or divide it? Does it expand your capacity or drain it? Does it build long-term value or temporary recognition? Choose wisely. Choice determines trajectory. Every yes closes doors to other paths. Every commitment consumes focus. Your time is finite. Your energy is limited. Leverage protects both. Multiply impact. If one action creates 10 results, prioritize it. If one connection opens many doors, nurture it. If one disciplined habit strengthens multiple areas, reinforce it. Leverage is intelligent force. Return to the climbers. Halfway up the mountain, a storm forms. Wind rises. Rocks loosen. The climber who rushed must adjust constantly. His earlier missteps cost energy. His foundation is unstable. The climber who assessed the terrain built strength gradually. His positioning is secure. He anticipated difficult segments. He conserved energy. When the storm hits, he adapts. Preparation amplifies leverage. You are not here to exhaust yourself proving dedication. You are here to design your ascent. Blind hustle glorifies struggle. Strategic leverage glorifies efficiency. There is nothing noble about unnecessary exhaustion. Strength should build you, not drain you. Assess first. Choose wisely. Multiply impact. The old self equated busyness with progress. The new self equates effectiveness with progress. Busyness fills hours. Effectiveness multiplies outcomes. You begin to see patterns. Some tasks move you forward slightly. Others shift entire trajectories. You prioritize the latter. This requires courage, because leverage often appears less dramatic. It requires patience, because leverage compounds slowly at first. It requires discipline, because efficiency demands clarity. Imagine doing less but achieving more. Picture a week where your actions are focused, deliberate, high impact. You remove distractions. You eliminate low-value commitments. You invest deeply in key actions. The results begin to show, not because you worked longer, but because you worked smarter. Efficiency becomes your standard, not laziness, not avoidance, precision. You measure your day not by hours spent, but by value created. You ask, what is the smallest action that creates the largest effect? You ask, what can be simplified? You ask, what can be delegated? You ask, what can be obligated? You ask, what can be automated? Leverage transforms your relationship with effort. You still work hard, but your effort is directed. Effort applied to leverage compounds. Effort applied to chaos dissipates. Your old self chased every opportunity. Your new self filters them. Your old self said yes quickly. Your new self evaluates. Your old self filled time. Your new self designs time. Assess first. Choose wisely. Multiple impact. Feel the shift in identity. You are no longer proving how hard you can push. You are proving how intelligently you can position. There is power in restraint, power in focus, power in saying no. When you protect your energy, you amplify your strength. When you protect your time, you multiply your influence. The climber who plans does not climb less, he climbs better. The strategist does not avoid effort, he channels it. There will always be more to do. More tasks, more requests, more opportunities, but you are selective now. You think in leverage. Which actions build systems? Which relationships open networks? Which skills unlock higher capacity? You begin to move with calm efficiency. Others may appear busy. You appear composed. They scatter energy. You concentrate it, and concentration increases force. Multiply impact. When you improve one core skill deeply, it influences many areas. Communication improves leadership. Leadership improves influence. Influence improves opportunity. One leveraged improvement creates many outcomes. This is intelligent growth. Assess first. Before launching, plan structure. Before expanding, strengthen foundation. Before committing, examine sustainability. Strategic positioning ensures that when you do push hard, it counts. There will be moments that require intense effort, but those moments are chosen. They are targeted. They are aligned with leverage. Imagine 5 years from now, one path shows exhaustion without stability, constant hustle, minimal compounding. The other shows intelligent structure, systems built, reputation strengthened, capacity expanded. Which path do you choose? You already know. Efficiency becomes your standard, not because you seek ease, but because you seek impact. You want results that last. You want growth that compounds. You want strength that sustains. Work smart before working hard. Say it internally. Work smart before working hard. Say it internally. Work smart before working hard. Let that anchor you. When pressure urges you to push blindly, pause. Assess first. When excitement tempts you to commit instantly, breathe. Choose wisely. When fatigue tempts you to scatter effort, refocus. Multiply impact. You are no longer driven by urgency alone. You are guided by strategy. This chapter does not celebrate exhaustion. It celebrates intelligent design. You are building leverage. And as leverage increases, something remarkable begins to emerge. The power of silence, of observation, of withholding unnecessary motion until the moment is right. That is where influence deepens. That is where authority strengthens. Chapter 6. Silence as a strategic weapon. Noise is easy. Talking is easy. Reacting instantly is easy. Silence is discipline, and discipline creates advantage. Information flows to the quiet observer. When you speak less, you see more. When you react less, you understand more. When you reveal less, you control more. Most people fill silence because it feels uncomfortable. A pause feels like weakness. The delayed response feels like uncertainty, so they rush to speak. They explain too much. They defend too quickly. They expose their position before it is necessary. You will not. You are learning the power of withholding immediate reaction. Picture deep water. From the surface, it appears calm, still, almost passive. But beneath that surface is force, pressure, immense strength. Silence is like deep water, calm on the surface, power beneath. Speak less, listen deeper, reveal selectively. Speak less, not because you lack ideas, but because words reveal strategy. When you speak excessively, you expose intentions prematurely. You show direction before you are ready to move. You give others the opportunity to prepare against you. The quiet observer gathers information. He studies tone. He watches patterns. He reads between words. Information flows toward the one who listens. People reveal themselves when they feel heard. They speak freely in the presence of calm. They disclose plans in the presence of patience. They reveal weakness in the presence of silence. Listen deeper, not only to words, to timing, to hesitation, to emphasis, to what is avoided. Every conversation carries layers, surface content, underlying motive. hidden concern. Strategic thinkers detect layers. Your old self reacted immediately. A comment triggered explanation. A challenge triggered defense. A delay triggered anxiety. Your new self pauses, and in that pause, you gain leverage. There is tension in silence. When someone makes a bold statement and you do not respond instantly, the air tightens. When criticism appears and you do not counter immediately, observers wait. When negotiation slows because you choose not to speak first, pressure shifts. That tension is not weakness, it is control. Pause. Watch. Calculate. Advance. This is your second transformation peak. Pause. When emotion rises, do not rush to discharge it. Pause. Watch. Observe the field. Who is speaking? Who is reacting? Who is uncomfortable? Calculate. What is the strategic response? What is the long-term implication? What is gained by speaking now versus later? Advance. Move only when clarity aligns with intention. Silence gives you time to calculate, time to think ahead, time to measure impact. Most people fear silence because they associate it with loss of control. You associate silence with acquisition of control. Speak less. When you reduce unnecessary words, your voice carries weight. Your statements become deliberate. Your presence becomes grounded. People listen more closely when you speak less frequently. Listen deeper. When you remove the need to prove yourself constantly, you create space to understand others fully. Understanding others increases influence. Influence increases leverage. Reveal selectively. Not everything needs to be shared immediately. Not every thought needs expression. Not every strategy needs exposure. Strategic concealment protects position. Deep water does not announce its depth. It simply is. You are cultivating depth. Consider a negotiation. The impulsive negotiation reveals their bottom line quickly, anxious to close. They speak at length. They justify position. They reveal urgency. The strategic negotiator asks questions, listens, pauses, lets silence extend. In silence, the other party often speaks more. They reveal limits. They expose concerns. They negotiate against themselves. Silence gathers data. Data informs decision. Decision creates advantage. There is emotional tension in withholding reaction. You may feel the urge to fill the space, to clarify, to defend, to impress. Resist it. Lower your internal volume. Allow silence to work for you. When you control your immediate reaction, you control your immediate reaction. You control narrative direction. Silence creates curiosity. Curiosity increases perceived authority. Authority enhances influence. Your old self equated visibility with impact. Your new self understands that presence does not require constant sound. Composure commands respect. You lead through composure. Repeat that internally. You lead through composure. In meetings, you do not rush to speak first. You observe the dynamics. You identify alliances. You detect tension. You speak when it matters. And when you do, your words carry weight. In conflict, you do not escalate emotionally. You listen fully. You allow others to express themselves. You respond with precision. Precision defeats chaos. Silence is not absence, it is preparation. Preparation sharpens execution. Pause, watch, calculate, advance, feel the empowerment in that rhythm. Pause, the moment stretches, you feel steady. Watch, you gather subtle signals. Calculate, you align response with strategy. Advance, you move decisively. Others may perceive your silence as mystery. Mystery strengthens authority. Mystery strengthens authority. Predictability weakens leverage. When you reveal selectively, you protect advantage. You do not announce every plan. You do not display every ambition. You move quietly. You build silently. Then you act decisively. Deep water appears calm, but it holds force. Your calm exterior hides disciplined thought. Your composed presence masks strategic calculation. You are not passive. You are prepared. Speak less. Listen deeper. Reveal selectively. There will be moments when silence feels uncomfortable, when others demand reaction, when pressure attempts to provoke. In those moments, anchor yourself. Pause, watch, calculate, advance. Silence also strengthens self-control. When you resist the urge to react instantly, you train your nervous system to remain steady under pressure. Emotional volatility decreases. Strategic clarity increases. You begin to see that not every comment deserves response. Not every challenge deserves engagement. Not every opportunity deserves attention. Selective response protects energy. Selective speech protects direction. Imagine entering a high-stakes environment. Voices overlap. Opinions clash. Urgency rises. You remain steady. You observe. You listen. When you finally speak, the room quiets, because you have not diluted your presence with unnecessary noise. That is power. Power does not shout. Power does not rush. Power chooses timing. Your identity is shifting from reactive participant to composed leader, from impulsive responder to strategic observer, from loud presence to authoritative calm. You lead through composure. Let that define you. Not silence born of fear, silence born of control. Not quietness born of insecurity, quietness born of insecurity, quietness born of calculation. The more you practice silence, the more you notice. Patterns reveal themselves. Motives surface. Opportunities appear. Information flows to the quiet observer. And as you master this weapon, you begin to recognize something deeper. Silence is not only about listening to others, it is also about listening to yourself. When external noise decreases, internal clarity increases. Your thoughts become sharper. Your decisions become keener. Your intentions become stronger. Speak less, listen deeper, reveal selectively. Pause, watch, calculate, advance. Watch, calculate, advance. You are becoming deep water, calm above, powerful beneath. And from this composure, a new capacity begins to form, the ability to decide with speed and confidence when the moment demands action, without overthinking, without hesitation. That is where decision intelligence begins to emerge. Chapter 7. Decision Intelligence. Every life is shaped by decisions, not by intentions, not by ideas, not by potential, by decisions, and most people make too many weak ones. They drift into choices, they delay commitment, they overanalyze until opportunity fades. You will not. Decision intelligence is not about making more decisions. It is about making fewer, stronger ones. Clear, aligned, committed. Overthinking feels safe. It feels responsible. It feels intelligent. But often overthinking is fear wearing the mask of caution. Fear of being wrong. Fear of judgment. Fear of consequence. You have felt it, the moment before action, the mind spinning. What if this fails? What if I choose poorly? What if there is a better option? The old self seeks certainty before movement. The new self seeks currency before movement. The new self seeks clarity, not certainty. Certainty rarely exists. Clarity does. Clarity comes from evaluation. Evaluation comes from structure. Introduce structure into your thinking. A rapid evaluation model is simple. What is the goal? What are the options? What are the likely outcomes? What are the likely outcomes? What is the risk of inaction? 4 questions, not endless analysis. 4. When a decision appears, run it through this filter. What is the goal? Not the emotion, not the impulse, the real objective. What are the options? List them clearly. Avoid exaggeration. What are the likely outcomes, short-term and long-term? What is the risk of inaction? Sometimes the greatest cost is delay. This structure reduces chaos. It removes emotional fog. It creates clarity. Once clarity appears, you move, decide, commit, execute, decide. You select a direction, not tentatively, not half-heartedly, deliberately. Commit. You remove the back door. You stop revisiting the same decision repeatedly. You give it energy. Execute. You move forward without apology. The emotional arc is real. Fear whispers before decisions. What if this is wrong? You acknowledge it. Then you respond. What if hesitation is worse? Hesitation drains momentum. It erodes confidence. It teaches your mind to doubt itself. Every time you delay unnecessarily, you strengthen uncertainty. Every time you decide boldly, you strengthen authority. The conflict intensifies now. You versus your old self. The old self replays options endlessly. The old self waits for perfect timing. The old self seeks reassurance. The new self gathers data quickly, evaluates calmly, acts decisively. You are not reckless. You are structured. There is a difference. Reckless decisions ignore information. Intelligent decisions use information efficiently. You do not need infinite data. You need sufficient clarity. Perfection is paralysis. Progress is power. Imagine standing at a crossroads. Two paths, both uncertain. One requires courage. One requires comfort. The old self stalls. The new self asks, which aligns with long-term vision. You choose. Not because you are fearless, but because you are disciplined. Fear of wrong moves is natural. It protects survival. But you are not operating in survival mode. You are operating in growth mode. Growth requires movement, requires decision. Decide, commit, execute. When you decide, something shifts internally. Energy aligns, focus sharpens, distraction reduces. Your mind stops negotiating, it begins advancing. Weak decisions create lingering doubt. Strong decisions create momentum. Momentum fuels confidence. Confidence fuels leadership. Decision intelligence also requires boundaries. Not every choice deserves extended debate. What to wear, what to eat. Minor logistics. Automate small decisions. Preserve energy for significant ones. Make fewer, stronger decisions. Reduce trivial choice fatigue. Conserve cognitive strength. Your mind is a resource. Guard it. When major decisions arise, engage fully. When minor ones appear, simplify quickly. This clarity creates rhythm. You stop exhausting yourself with unnecessary deliberation. You focus on impact. Overthinking often disguises avoidance. You revisit details to avoid discomfort. You analyze to delay risk. But delay carries risk. Missed opportunity, lost timing, diminished confidence. Ask yourself, is more analysis adding clarity or feeding fear? Be honest, you are capable of honest evaluation. Decision intelligence grows with repetition. Each decisive action builds internal trust. You begin to think, I can handle consequences. That belief changes everything. Consequences are not enemies, they are feedback. Feedback refines strategy. No decision is perfect, but indecision guarantees stagnation. Your old self sought comfort. Your new self seeks growth. Comfort avoids risk. Growth embraces responsibility. You choose growth. Decide, commit, execute. Feel the strength in that sequence. Decide. You end internal debate. Commit. You align behavior. Execute. You create results. Results provide feedback. Feedback improves next decisions. This is momentum. Imagine yourself 5 years ahead, confident, grounded, respected. That version of you was built through decisive action, not endless contemplation. You begin to notice something powerful. The more decisively you act, the less anxiety you feel, because uncertainty shrinks when action begins. Action clarifies. Hesitation magnifies doubt. Hesitation no longer leads you. Say it internally. Hesitation no longer leads you. Say it internally. Hesitation no longer leads me. You still evaluate carefully, but once clarity appears, you move. In leadership, decisive presence reassures others. Teams look for direction. If you hesitate visibly, confidence erodes. If you decide clearly, stability forms. You are becoming stable. Not rigid, stable. Stable leaders evaluate swiftly. They communicate clearly, they adjust when needed. Adjustment is not weakness, it is intelligence. Decision intelligence also includes knowing when not to decide immediately. Urgency is not always importance. If emotion is high, pause. If data is incomplete, gather briefly, but do not linger without purpose. Structure protects speed. Clarity protects confidence. Imagine entering a negotiation. You assess quickly, you recognize the core objective, you identify leverage, you decide your boundary, you commit internally. You execute with calm authority. Others sense conviction. Conviction influences outcomes. Weak conviction invites challenge. Strong conviction commands respect. Your internal dialogue changes now. Instead of, "What if I fail?" you ask, "What will I learn?" Instead of, "What if I regret this?" you ask, "What will regret cost if I never try?" This shift empowers movement. Fear becomes fuel, not barrier. You versus your old self. The old self avoided discomfort. The new self uses discomfort as signal. Signal to grow, signal to expand, signal to lead. Make fewer, stronger decisions. Simplify your life. Clarify your priorities. Remove unnecessary complexity. The clearer your direction, the easier your decisions. Decision intelligence thrives in clarity. What do you stand for? What do you value? What is your long-term vision? When these are defined, choices narrow. You eliminate options that do not align. Alignment accelerates decision-making. You no longer debate endlessly. You filter quickly, decide, commit, execute, repeat. Each repetition strengthens identity. You are becoming someone who trusts their judgment. Trust grows from action. You will make mistakes. Everyone does. But mistakes are temporary. Hesitation can become permanent. Choose temporary mistakes over permanent stagnation. Feel the emotional rise, energy building, confidence increasing. You are no longer standing still. You are moving with intention. You are acting with structure. You are leading yourself. Decide, commit, execute. Let those words become rhythm. Let them become instinct. Hesitation no longer leads you. Clarity leads you. Courage moves you. Discipline sustains you. Say it clearly. I decide who I become. Feel the weight of that statement. I decide who I become. Feel the weight of that statement. I decide who I become. Not circumstance, not fear, not delay. You decide. And as you strengthen this ability to decide quickly and wisely, another layer of mastery begins to unfold. The courage to take calculated risks, to step into uncertainty with intelligence instead of impulse. That is where strategic risk becomes your ally rather than your fear. Chapter 8. Strategic Risk-Taking. Every level of growth demands risk, not reckless risk, not emotional risk, calculated risk. There is a difference between gambling and positioning. Gambling is impulse, positioning is preparation. Gambling hopes, positioning is preparation. Gambling hopes, positioning evaluates. You are not here to gamble with your future. You are here to design it. Risk is unavoidable. If you avoid risk entirely, you avoid expansion. If you chase risk blindly, you invite collapse. Strategic risk sits between fear and recklessness, balanced, measured, intentional. Imagine a bridge builder standing before a deep canyon. He does not sprint across untested ground. He studies the span. He tests materials. He calculates load. He reinforces weak points. He measures weight before crossing. When he finally steps forward, it is not blind courage. It is engineered confidence. That is strategic risk. Measure risk. Accept uncertainty. Move boldly. Measure risk. Before acting, examine variables. What can go wrong? What can go right? What is the probability? What is the cost? What is the upside? Clarity removes emotional distortion. Emotional risk feels urgent. Calculated risk feels structured. Your old self avoided risk out of fear or chased it out of emotion. Your new self evaluates. You do not ask, is there risk? There is always risk. You ask, is the risk proportional to the reward? You ask, can I withstand the downside? You ask, does this align with long-term direction? Accept uncertainty. There is no action without uncertainty. Waiting for total certainty is silent avoidance. You accept that some variables remain unknown, but unknown does not mean unmanageable. You prepare buffers, you build reserves, you strengthen foundations, then you move. Move boldly. Bold does not mean careless. Bold means committed. Bold means aligned. Bold means steady under pressure. There is a moment before every risk, a quiet internal negotiation. What if this fails? You feel the tension, your heart accelerates, your mind projects worst-case scenarios. Pause, measure risk, separate imagination from probability. List the actual risks, quantify them, shrink exaggerated fear into measurable factors. Now ask yourself, if I do nothing, what happens? Inaction carries risk too. Missed growth, lost momentum, diminished influence. Sometimes the safest move is forward. Strategic risk-takers do not eliminate fear, they manage it. They design safeguards, they create contingency plans. They test weight before crossing. Return to the bridge builder. He does not eliminate gravity, he designs against it. You cannot eliminate uncertainty, you can prepare for it. Measure risk, accept uncertainty, move boldly. The emotional arc intensifies here. You feel the temptation to freeze. When stakes rise, when visibility increases, when consequences matter, freezing feels safe. Shrinking feels protective, but shrinking erodes identity. You have not built discipline to retreat at the edge. Don't freeze, don't shrink. Advance now, hold steady. Transformation peak. Number 3, don't freeze. When opportunity appears larger than comfort, don't shrink. When responsibility expands, advance now. When preparation is sufficient, hold steady. When pressure tests your resolve, feel the rise in energy. This is not reckless adrenaline, it is structured courage. Courage supported by evaluation. Courage reinforced by preparation. You are not gambling, you are positioning. Gambling ignores probability. Positioning respects it. Gambling reacts emotionally. Positioning acts strategically. In business, in leadership, in business, in leadership, in personal growth. Every advancement contains risk. Launching a project, making a career shift, expanding influence, speaking publicly. Each step forward introduces exposure. Exposure invites vulnerability. Vulnerability feels uncomfortable, but vulnerability paired with preparation creates expansion. Measure risk, break it down. Financial exposure, time commitment, reputational impact, skill gap. For each risk, design mitigation, savings buffer, time schedule, reputation protection, skill development. When mitigation exists, fear reduces, confidence increases, credit increases. Accept uncertainty. You cannot predict every variable. Markets change, people shift, circumstances evolve. But strategic thinkers adapt. You build flexibility into plans. You create options. You design exits. Then you commit. Move boldly. Boldness with preparation transforms fear into fuel. The world often rewards those willing to move when others hesitate. Imagine leading where others retreat. Picture a room where tension rises. A decision must be made. Others hesitate. They analyze endlessly. They fear criticism. You measure quickly. You calculate exposure. You decide. You move. The room stabilizes. Leadership emerges in decisive risk-taking. You are not seeking danger. You are pursuing growth. Growth requires stepping beyond current comfort. Comfort zones preserve stability. Growth zones expand capacity. Every time you take calculated risk, you stretch identity. You prove to yourself that you can handle complexity. You strengthen internal trust. Your old self avoided responsibility disguised as caution. Your new self embraces responsibility supported by structure. Measure risk. Accept uncertainty. Move boldly. Repeat it. Measure risk. Accept uncertainty. Move boldly. Repeat it. Measure risk. There will be moments when others question your decision, when critics appear, when doubt whispers. Remember the bridge builder. He trusted his calculations. He tested strength. He reinforced structure. When he stepped forward, he did so calmly. You are that builder. You test ideas before scaling. You pilot projects before expanding. You evaluate feedback before doubling down. Strategic risk is not random. It is layered. Small tests, medium commitments, larger expansions, each step validated by results. This layering protects you from catastrophic failure. It allows learning at each stage. Don't freeze, don't shrink. Advance now, hold steady. Risk tolerance increases with competence. The more skilled you become, the more comfortable you feel with complexity. Invest in skill. Invest in preparation. Then risk feels less threatening. It feels like calculated progression. Strategic risk-taking also includes emotional risk. Speaking truth, setting boundaries, asking for opportunity, expressing vision. These actions feel vulnerable, but silence born of fear limits potential. Measure risk. Is expressing this aligned with your values? Is setting this boundary protecting long-term respect? Is asking for this opportunity creating expansion? If yes, move boldly. Accept uncertainty. The outcome may not be guaranteed, but inaction guarantees stagnation. You are not chasing thrill. You are building trajectory. Trajectory compounds. Small calculated risks lead to larger strategic positions. You move from competence to influence, from influence to authority, from authority to leadership. Imagine 5 years ahead. You have taken multiple calculated risks, each one stretching capacity, each one building confidence. You stand in positions others once avoided. You lead where others retreated. You speak where others stayed silent. You advance where others froze. This is not luck, it is disciplined courage. Measure risk, accept uncertainty, move boldly. Feel the power in that sequence. Your pulse may rise before action, that is, energy. Channel it, anchor it, use it. Do not suppress it, direct it. Strategic risk-takers understand timing. Not every moment demands bold action, but when alignment appears, hesitation wastes opportunity. Don't freeze, don't shrink, advance now. Hold steady, hold steady. Once you move, do not second-guess immediately. Monitor results, adjust intelligently, but do not retreat at the first sign of resistance. Resistance tests resolve. Resolve builds reputation. Reputation builds trust. Trust builds leadership. Reputation builds trust. Trust builds leadership. You are no longer avoiding uncertainty, you are navigating it. You are no longer fearing exposure, you are managing it. You are no longer gambling with your future, you are engineering it. Imagine leading where others retreat. Picture crisis emerging. Others panic, you assess. Others withdraw, you calculate. Others delay, you decide. That is strategic risk. You become reliable under pressure. Reliable leaders rise quickly. Risk handled intelligently accelerates growth. But risk ignored creates regret. Which regret would you rather carry? The regret of action that taught you, or the regret of opportunity never taken? You already know. Measure risk. Accept uncertainty. Move boldly. Your identity shifts again. From cautious participant to calculated leader. From hesitant observer to strategic mover. From risk-averse to risk-aware. Risk-aware. That is your identity. You are aware of risk. You measure it. You manage it. You move through it. Say internally, I advance with intelligence. Feel the strength in that. I advance with intelligence. And as you strengthen this capacity to take calculated risk, your next evolution begins, influencing not only your own path, but the decisions, emotions, and direction of others around you. Strategy is expanding beyond you. It is becoming leadership. Chapter 9. Influence through strategy is no longer only about you, it is about people, because every outcome you desire moves through human behavior, opportunities, partnerships, negotiations, leadership. They are not mechanical systems, they are emotional ecosystems. They are emotional ecosystems. If you cannot read people, you cannot position effectively. Strategic thinking extends to people, and people are not random, they are patterned. At first, others may feel unpredictable. One moment cooperative, next moment resistant. One conversation smooth, another tense. Confusion rises when you focus only on words. Clarity rises when you study motives. Observe motives. Behind every statement is an intention. Behind every objection is a concern. Behind every hesitation is a calculation. People rarely reveal their full reasoning immediately. They test, they protect, they assess you. If you react to surface behavior, you miss the deeper layer. Confusion fades when you begin asking silent questions. What does this person want? What are they protecting? What are they afraid of losing? What are they afraid of losing? What are they hoping to gain? You stop listening for agreement. You start listening for motive. Wind direction determines sail position. A skilled sailor does not fight the wind, he studies it. He adjusts sails accordingly. He moves with the wind's force instead of against it. People are wind. Their emotions, their incentives, their fears, their ambitions. If you push against strong emotional wind without awareness, you exhaust yourself. If you adjust strategically, you move faster. Observe motives. When someone resists your idea, it may not be rejection, it may be fear of uncertainty. When someone challenges your authority, it may not be disrespect, it may be insecurity. When someone delays agreement, it may not be indecision, it may be a need for reassurance. Reading motives transforms confusion into clarity. You begin to see patterns. Certain personalities seek recognition, others seek security, some seek control, others seek collaboration. Strategic influence aligns with motive. You do not force alignment. You create it. Time your words. Time your words. Timing is power. The right message delivered at the wrong moment fails. The right message delivered at the right moment moves mountains. When emotions are high, logic rarely penetrates. When tension is rising, pushing harder escalates conflict. When someone feels unheard, persuasion fails. Time your words. Wait until emotion stabilizes. Wait until attention is focused. Wait until attention is focused. Wait until resistance softens. Patience increases persuasion. Your old self spoke quickly, eager to convince, eager to prove. Your new self waits. You sense energy shifts. You observe posture changes. You detect when someone is open, then you speak. And when you speak, it lands. Influence is not domination, it is alignment. Lead calmly. Calm presence creates psychological safety. When people feel safe, they reveal more. When they reveal more, you understand better. When you understand better, you influence effectively. Confusion turns to clarity. Clarity builds authority. Authority strengthens leadership. Return to the sail metaphor. If wind shifts direction, the sailor adjusts sails. He does not blame the wind, he studies it. You do not blame personalities, you study them. Observe motives, time your words. Lead calmly. Imagine entering a negotiation. You notice one participant speaks often, seeking validation. Another remains silent, analyzing quietly. Another interrupts, asserting control. Instead of reacting to behavior, you interpret motive. Validation seeker needs acknowledgement. Silent analyst needs data. Controller needs structured boundaries. You adjust communication accordingly. The validation seeker receives recognition. The analyst receives clarity. The controller receives defined limits. Resistance decreases. Momentum increases. You influence without force. That is identity shift. Force creates short-term compliance. Influence creates long-term alignment. Force demands obedience. Influence invites cooperation. When you raise your voice, you may win the moment. When you raise understanding, you win the relationship. Observe motives. Sometimes motives are layered. A colleague resists your proposal publicly. Surface layer, disagreement. Deeper layer, fear of losing relevance. When you address relevance privately, resistance dissolves. Clarity emerges. Strategic influence requires emotional discipline. If someone challenges you personally, your ego may react. But you remember, this is wind, not an attack. Adjust sail, stay steady, lead calmly. Confusion often arises from assumption. You assume someone's silence means disapproval. You assume hesitation means rejection. You assume challenge means hostility. Assumption distorts reality. Observation clarifies it. Ask clarifying questions. What concerns you about this? What would make this more comfortable? What outcome are you aiming for? Questions reveal motive. Motive reveals leverage. Leverage strengthens influence. Timing is also about context. Delivering criticism publicly creates defense. Delivering guidance privately creates receptiveness. Announcing change abruptly creates resistance. Preparing people gradually creates acceptance. Time your words. Think in sequences. Introduce ideas softly before formal decisions. Plant seeds before expecting agreement. Allow time for internal processing. Strategic influence respects human psychology. People rarely change instantly. They adjust gradually. You guide them through transition. Lead calmly. Your composure stabilizes rooms. When tension rises, you remain centered. When disagreement intensifies, you speak evenly. When uncertainty spreads, you provide clarity. Calm leadership creates confidence. Confidence strengthens influence. Confusion fades. Authority rises. Influence also requires selective vulnerability. Sharing calculated transparency builds trust. Trust multiplies persuasion, but transparency without boundaries weakens position. Reveal selectively. Maintain professionalism. Protect long-term leverage. Influence without force requires patience. Patience feels slow, but force often creates hidden resistance. Hidden resistance erodes momentum. Strategic alignment builds sustainable progress. Observe motives. Time your words. Lead calmly. Picture a team facing uncertainty. Deadlines approaching. Pressure building. Rumors spreading. The reactive leader amplifies anxiety. The reactive leader amplifies anxiety. The strategic leader anchors it. You acknowledge concern. You clarify direction. You reinforce vision calmly. Authority strengthens. People follow stability. Stability arises from composure. Your identity solidifies. You influence without force. That sentence changes your posture. You influence without force. Force feels heavy. Influence feels natural. Force pushes. Influence guides. Force creates tension. Influence creates momentum. Imagine leading where persuasion feels effortless. Because you study personalities, you read emotional currents, you adjusted your sails, you did not fight wind, you navigated it. Influence through strategy transforms conflict into collaboration. Disagreement becomes data. Resistance becomes feedback. Emotion becomes information. You remain curious instead of reactive. Curiosity strengthens intelligence. Intelligence strengthens authority. Authority strengthens leadership. Confusion dissolves. Clarity emerges. You begin noticing how small adjustments shift outcomes. Tone softens. Body language relaxes. Agreement increases. Your presence changes the dynamic, not through volume, through awareness. Observe motives. Time your words. Lead calmly. You are no longer persuading blindly. You are positioning strategically. You are no longer reacting emotionally. You are responding intentionally. Influence without force is sustainable. Sustainable influence compounds. Compounding influence builds legacy. You feel the transformation. From confusion to clarity. From reaction to authority. From effort to alignment. And as you strengthen this capacity to influence strategically, you prepare for a deeper test, maintaining composure and direction when pressure intensifies, when resistance escalates, when stakes rise dramatically. That is where resilience under pressure defines true leadership. Chapter 10. Resilience under pressure. Strategy is powerful. Planning is intelligent. Positioning is effective. But none of it survives without endurance. Pressure reveals the truth, not your ideas, not your intentions, your endurance. Strategy collapses when emotion overwhelms discipline. It collapses when fatigue weakens clarity. It collapses when criticism pierces confidence. Pressure is the final test, and you are being prepared for it. Every level of growth increases intensity, higher responsibility, greater visibility, stronger opposition. If you cannot remain steady under pressure, your strategy dissolves. This is where resilience becomes non-negotiable. Resilience is not stubbornness. It is emotional endurance. It is the ability to hold direction while discomfort rises. Hold firm, breathe deeply, stay disciplined. Pressure comes in waves. Deadlines tighten, resources shrink, expectations rise, voices question. In those moments, your nervous system reacts. Heart rate increases, thoughts accelerate, emotion surges. Pause, breathe deeply, breath stabilizes biology, influences thought. Thought influences action. Breathe deeply. Slow your inhale. Control your exhale. Create internal steadiness. Hold firm. Do not abandon your plan at the first sign of friction. Do not discard structure because stress increases. Pressure is not proof of failure. Pressure is proof of expansion. Pressure means you are operating at higher stakes. Your old self interpreted pressure as threat. Your new self interprets pressure as sharpening force. Pressure sharpens you. Think of a blade. Without friction, it remains dull. Sharpening requires resistance. Resistance produces edge. You are being sharpened. Introduce pressure simulations. Preparation builds resilience. Do not wait for crisis to test stability. Simulate stress deliberately. Train in difficulty. Practice under time constraints. Rehearse conversations that feel uncomfortable. Expose yourself to controlled challenge. Athletes train with added weight, so performance feels lighter later. Leaders train under pressure, so reality feels manageable. Create scenarios in your mind. If this fails, what do I do? If this deadline compresses, how do I respond? If criticism escalates, how do I remain calm? Simulated pressure strengthens real-world composure. When actual tension arrives, it feels familiar. Familiarity reduces fear. Resilience is built before crisis. Hold firm. When uncertainty rises, anchor to principles, anchor to values, anchor to structure. Do not let temporary discomfort redirect long-term vision. Stay disciplined. Discipline preserves direction. Emotion disrupts it. Pressure often tempts shortcuts, lower standards, compromise principles, react impulsively. Resist that temptation. Stay disciplined. Discipline during ease is admirable. Discipline during pressure is leadership. Your old self thrived in comfort. Your new self thrives under challenge. There will be days when progress stalls, when effort feels unnoticed, when setbacks appear larger than expected. This is the crucible, the testing ground, the moment where identity is forged. Keep going, don't stop. Stand firm, rise again. Transformation peak. Number 4, keep going. Even when energy dips, even when doubts whisper, don't stop. Momentum returns when action continues. Stand firm. Do not collapse into self-criticism. Do not abandon structure. Rise again after setbacks, after mistakes, after criticism. Resilience is not never falling. It is rising consistently. Pressure exposes weakness. That exposure is not shame. It is data. If stress reveals poor preparation, improve preparation. If tension reveals skill gaps, strengthen skills. If criticism reveals blind spots, refine awareness. Pressure is feedback. Feedback accelerates growth. Imagine a high-stakes environment, a presentation before key stakeholders. Silence fills the room. Expectations weigh heavily. Your mind begins projecting worst-case outcomes. Pause. Breathe deeply. Feel your feet grounded. Hold firm. You prepared. You structured. You evaluated. Now, execute calmly. The difference between panic and performance is composure. Composure is trained. Pressure simulations create that training. Volunteer for responsibility slightly above comfort. Take on tasks that stretch capacity. Speak in rooms that challenge confidence. Each exposure strengthens endurance. Resilience compounds. Small tests prepare for larger ones. Stay disciplined. Routine anchors stability. When chaos surrounds you, routine centers you. Morning preparation. Focused work blocks, clear priorities, structure reduces cognitive overload. Under pressure, simplify, return to fundamentals, clear communication, defined objectives, measured action. Pressure complicates thinking. Discipline simplifies it. Your identity shifts again, from reactive performer to stable leader, from emotionally driven to strategically grounded. Pressure sharpens you. Say it internally, pressure sharpens me. Feel the power in that statement. Instead of shrinking under intensity, you expand through it. Instead of collapsing under scrutiny, you stabilize within it. Pressure is not personal, it is environmental. Environment tests structure. Your structure holds. Breathe deeply. Inhale calm. Exhale tension. Hold firm. When voices grow louder, lower your tone. When deadlines shorten, narrow focus. When stakes rise, reinforce fundamentals. Resilience also requires recovery. After intense effort, restore deliberately. Rest is strategic. Recovery strengthens endurance. Fatigue weakens resilience. Monitor energy. Preserve capacity. Resilience is not endless exhaustion. It is sustainable strength. Imagine 5 years from now, you have faced criticism, market shifts, unexpected failures, public challenges, and each time you held firm, each time you breathed deeply, each time you stayed disciplined. Your reputation solidified. People began trusting your steadiness. Trust multiplies influence. Influence expands opportunity. Opportunity increases responsibility. Responsibility increases pressure. And you are ready. Keep going. Don't stop. Stand firm. Rise again. Feel the escalation. Pressure increases. Your pulse rises. But you remain steady. Because you trained here, you practiced discomfort. You simulated stress. You strengthened discipline. You anchored identity. Resilience also includes emotional boundaries. Not every opinion deserves internalization. Not every criticism deserves belief. Evaluate feedback objectively. Adopt what strengthens you. Release what distracts you. Stay disciplined. Protect mental space. Protect focus. Under pressure, distractions multiply. Emails intensify. Requests increase. Noise expands. Simplify. Prioritize. Execute core tasks first. Pressure tempts multitasking. Focus defeats chaos. Pressure reveals character. Your character is strengthening. You are not defined by easy days. You are defined by how you handle difficult ones. Hold firm. When momentum slows, maintain effort. When results delay, maintain discipline. When others falter, maintain composure. Leadership emerges under stress, not during comfort. Pressure sharpens you. It forces prioritization. It eliminates trivial concerns. It exposes true strengths. It reveals authentic identity. You are becoming resilient. Not loud, not dramatic, steady, grounded, enduring. Transformation peak number 4 intensifies. Keep going. Even when fatigue whispers, don't stop. Even when applause fades, stand firm. Even when obstacles multiply, rise again. After every setback, after every setback, after every critique, rise again. After every critique, rise again. This repetition installs endurance. It conditions your nervous system to persist. You do not crumble under weight. You strengthen beneath it. Imagine entering a crisis situation. Others look uncertain. Voices escalate. Energy destabilizes. You remain composed. You breathe deeply. You hold firm. Your steadiness stabilizes. Leadership under pressure multiplies influence. Influence expands opportunity. Opportunity increases impact. Pressure sharpens you. Say it again internally. Pressure sharpens me. Resilience is not optional. It is foundational. Without endurance, strategy evaporates. With endurance, strategy compounds. You have built awareness. You have built anticipation. You have built leverage. You have built influence. Now you build endurance. And endurance transforms capability into leadership. Stay disciplined. Keep going. Don't stop. Stand firm. Rise again. The storm will pass. The challenge will evolve. The tension will fade. But the strength you built remains. Resilience becomes identity. You no longer fear pressure. You expect it. You prepare for it. You grow through it. And as your resilience stabilizes, something powerful begins to emerge. Adaptability. Because pressure does not always follow predictable patterns. Sometimes it shifts suddenly. Sometimes it transforms without warning, and the ability to remain flexible without losing composure becomes the next level of mastery. Chapter 11. Becoming unpredictably strategic. Strength without flexibility becomes fragility. Control without adaptation becomes collapse. Rigidity feels powerful at first. Clear rules, fixed systems, structured plans. You feel stable when everything follows the blueprint. But life does not honor blueprints. Markets shift, people change, opportunities evolve, circumstances disrupt. If your strategy cannot bend, it will break. Flexibility beats rigidity, not chaos, not inconsistency. Intelligent adaptation. There is a difference between abandoning your vision and adjusting your method. Your vision remains steady. Your method evolves. Water shapes rock over time, not by forceful explosion, not by rigid impact, by continuous adaptation. Water does not argue with the rock, it flows around it. It finds cracks, it adjusts direction, and over time the rock changes shape. Adaptation is dominance. When disruption appears, rigid thinkers resist. They cling to original plans, they defend outdated assumptions, they push harder in the same direction, and resistance exhausts them. Flexible thinkers observe disruption. They recalibrate, they redirect energy, they maintain momentum, control. At first you build control through structure, discipline, planning, execution. You master fundamentals. Then disruption, inventor, execution. You master fundamentals. Then disruption enter. A sudden obstacle, control feels threatened. Emotion rises. Frustration whispers. You invested effort. You built systems. Now something changes. This is the emotional arc: control, disruption, recalibration. Authority, disruption, authority. Disruption tests identity. If you identify with your methods instead of your mission, you panic. If you identify with your mission, you adjust methods calmly. Adapt fast. Speed matters. When disruption occurs, delay amplifies damage. Evaluate quickly. What changed? What remains stable? What is the new terrain? Adapt fast, not emotionally. Strategically, stay fluid. Fluid thinkers do not attach ego to outdated decisions. They detach from pride. They detach from "I was right." They focus on what works now. Fluidity protects progress. Rigidity protects ego. Choose progress. Remain composed. Disruption triggers anxiety. Unexpected changes, certainty. Composure stabilizes evaluation. Breathe, assess, adjust. Imagine a leader launching a product. Months of preparation. Launch day arrives. Unexpected feedback emerges. Customer behavior differs from prediction. The rigid leader defends the original plan aggressively. Marketing doubles down. Messaging remains unchanged. Momentum fades. The adaptable leader listens, adjusts messaging, modifies features, redirects strategy. Momentum rebuilds, authority strengthens. Adaptation is not weakness, it is intelligence in motion. Water shaping rock, it does not announce adjustment. It simply flows. Over time, it reshapes the environment. You are becoming water, fluid, focused, persistent, difficult to predict, difficult to block. Adapt fast. When a strategy loses effectiveness, revise quickly. When a conversation shifts direction, pivot smoothly. When a goal requires new skill, acquire it rapidly. Stay fluid. Detach from fixed outcomes. Detach from rigid timelines. Hold vision firmly. Hold tactics loosely. Remain composed, even when others panic, even when plans dissolve, even when structure shifts. Emotional arc intensifies. Control feels comfortable. You build systems, you create routine, you design leverage. Then disruption challenges stability. The untrained mind reacts defensively. The strategic mind recalibrates. Recalibration requires humility. Humility does not weaken authority, it strengthens it. Authority grows when you adjust confidently, not stubbornly. Recalibration. What worked before? What failed? What is the new opportunity hidden in disruption? You analyze patterns, you identify leverage points, you reposition. Authority returns, stronger than before. You are difficult to outmaneuver. Why? Because opponents cannot predict rigidity. They expect fixed patterns. They expect repetitive responses. But you adapt, you evolve, you shift tempo, you change angle. Strategic unpredictability confuses competition. It protects advantage. It multiplies options. Flexibility does not mean inconsistency. Your core values remain unshaken. Your direction remains clear. Only your tactics evolve. Water shapes rock by persistence. You shape outcomes by adaptability. Imagine entering negotiations where the other party expects resistance. Instead, you pivot. You propose alternative structures. You adjust framing. They recalibrate mentally. Momentum shifts. Adapt fast, stay fluid, remain composed. Say it internally. Adapt fast, stay fluid, remain composed. When markets shift unexpectedly, rigid companies collapse, flexible ones reposition. When technology evolves, rigid thinkers resist. Flexible thinkers integrate. When culture changes, rigid leaders isolate. Flexible leaders connect. Adaptation is not survival alone. It is dominance. You remain calm during transition. You welcome recalibration. You see disruption as opportunity. Emotional control supports flexibility. If ego dominates, adaptation feels humiliating. If mission dominates, adaptation feels strategic. Detach ego, attach to purpose. You are not defined by a single approach. You are defined by resilience and adjustment. Think of a chess player mid-game. Unexpected move. Original plan disrupted. Rigid player clings to outdated sequence. Flexible player recalculates. He sees new patterns. He finds hidden advantage. He wins. You are that player. Recalibration sharpens intelligence. You evaluate without panic. You act without hesitation. Authority emerges. Others notice your steadiness. They see that disruption does not destabilize you. Confidence grows around you. Influence expands. You are difficult to outmaneuver because you cannot be boxed, because you cannot be boxed, because you cannot be predicted easily, because you adjust. Water flows around obstacles. It does not demand removal. It finds alternative paths, sometimes around, sometimes beneath, sometimes slowly eroding resistance. Strategic flexibility includes mental reframing. What appears like failure may be feedback. What appears like delay may be alignment. What appears like loss may be repositioning. Reframe quickly. Do not dwell on disappointment. Extract lesson. Adjust course. Move. Adapt fast. Stay fluid. Remain composed. Disruption often reveals hidden weakness. Address it. Strengthen it. Recalibration is refinement. Authority follows refinement. Control, disruption, recalibration, authority. This cycle repeats throughout growth. Each repetition strengthens adaptability. Your confidence no longer depends on perfect execution. It depends on effective adjustment. That is freedom. You are no longer fragile. You are fluid. When someone challenges your approach publicly, you do not defend impulsively. You ask clarifying questions. You adjust framing. You maintain dignity. Authority strengthens. When plans fail, you do not collapse. You redesign. You innovate. You reposition. Authority strengthens. When opportunities shift unexpectedly, you pivot swiftly. You integrate new data. You align action. Authority strengthens. Water shaping rock, steady, adaptive, persistent. Over time, even massive resistance yields. Your presence becomes difficult to disrupt because you do not cling. You adapt. You do not freeze. You recalibrate. You do not shrink. You evolve. Imagine 5 years ahead. You have navigated economic shifts, technological changes, team restructuring, personal transitions. Each time you adapted, each time you recalibrated, each time you rose stronger, your reputation solidifies. Reliable, stable, unpredictably strategic. Opponents hesitate because they cannot forecast your exact response. Colleagues trust you because you remain composed in uncertainty. You are difficult to outmaneuver. That identity changes your posture, your tone, your decisions. Adapt fast. Stay fluid. Remain composed. Repeat it. Adapt fast. Stay fluid. Remain composed. You no longer resist change. You integrate it. You no longer fear disruption. You anticipate adjustment. You no longer cling to control. You command recalibration. Listener affirmation. I rise. Say it internally. I rise. Rise through disruption. Rise through recalibration. Rise through adaptation. I rise. Flexibility is strength refined. Rigidity is strength limited. You choose refinement. You choose dominance through adaptability. You choose evolution over ego. As this chapter closes, your identity transforms once more. You are not only resilient, you are not only disciplined, you are fluid, strategic, difficult to outmaneuver. And as adaptability integrates with discipline, anticipation, leverage, influence, and resilience, one final evolution approaches: strategy no longer as skill, but as identity installed. That is where mastery completes its transformation. Chapter 12. The strategic identity installed. You are not the same thinker who began this journey. Something has shifted, not loudly, not dramatically, but permanently. Strategy is no longer a technique you practice, it is the way you see. It is the way you decide. It is the way you move. Strategy has become identity. Everything integrates now. Awareness sharpens perception. Emotional control stabilizes thought. Long horizons expand vision. Anticipation prepares you. Leverage multiplies effort. Silence protects position. Decision intelligence accelerates action. Strategic risk builds courage. Influence aligns people. Resilience sustains momentum. Adaptability ensures survival and dominance. All of it converges here. You do not switch strategy on, you live it. You wake up scanning patterns. You enter conversations reading motives. You approach challenges anticipating resistance. You plan in layers. You act in sequence. You reflect and recalibrate without forcing it, without overthinking it. Installed. See clearly, think deeper, move deliberately, win consistently. Transformation peak. Number 5, see clearly. You are no longer blinded by emotion. You see intentions. You see leverage points. You see long-term impact. Clarity precedes action. Think deeper. You no longer settle for surface answers. You ask what happens next. You examine second and third consequences. You evaluate hidden variables. Depth protects position. Move deliberately. You do not rush. You do not drift. You do not scatter. Every movement has intention. Every commitment has alignment. Win consistently, not by luck, not by chance, by structure, by discipline, by identity. Conflict resolves now. The old self fades. The reactive one, the impatient one, the hesitant one, the emotionally driven one. It does not disappear with shame. It dissolves with growth. It served its time. It taught its lessons, but it no longer leads. The new self leads. The strategic one, the composed one, the calculated one, the adaptable one. You do not react. You respond. You do not chase. You position. Feel that repetition anchor you. You do not react. You respond. You do not chase. You position. This is calm authority, not arrogance, not rigidity. Authority born of clarity. Imagine entering every room, calm, prepared, respected. You do not look for validation. You do not seek attention. You observe. You assess. You engage with precision. Others sense it. They sense steadiness. They sense steadiness. They sense control. They sense depth. Your presence shifts dynamics. Because you are not reacting to energy, you are directing it. Strategy installed changes posture, shoulders grounded, breath steady, eyes observant, voice measured. You do not need to dominate conversations. You guide them. You do not need to prove competence. Your composure displays it. See clearly. Think deeper. Move deliberately. Win consistently. There will still be obstacles, but you anticipate them. There will still be pressure, but you endure it. There will still be change, but you adapt to it. You do not collapse when disrupted. You recalibrate. You do not panic when challenged. You calculate. You do not freeze when opportunity appears. You evaluate and advance. Old self fades. New self leaves. There is relief in this shift. Relief from emotional turbulence. relief from impulsive regret, relief from scattered focus. You feel centered, grounded, aligned. Strategy becomes instinct. You enter negotiations already mapping outcomes. You enter projects already planning contingencies. You enter relationships reading emotional currents without strain, without exhaustion, installed. You do not react, you respond. You do not react, you respond. You do not react. You position, repeat it internally. You do not react, you respond. You do not chase, you position. This repetition builds permanence. It becomes reflex. It becomes standard. Future pacing deepens now. Imagine 5 years ahead. You walk into a high-stakes meeting. Complex negotiations ahead. Others shift nervously. You sit calmly. You see patterns unfolding. You anticipate objections. You speak with measured precision. Decisions move in your direction. Respect increases. Imagine leading during crisis, uncertainty spreading, voices escalating. You breathe deeply. You stabilize the room. You provide structure. Confidence returns. Imagine building something long-term. A business, a movement, a legacy. You design systems. You evaluate risk. You adjust strategically. Growth compounds. This is not temporary motivation. This is identity installed. See clearly. Think deeper. Move deliberately. Win consistently. Transformation peak. Number 5 intensifies. See clearly, even when emotions attempt to distort reality. Think deeper, even when surface answers seem sufficient. Move deliberately, even when urgency pressures speed. Win consistently. Because consistency arises from structure. Conflict dissolves fully. The old voice that once rushed decisions quiets. The impulse that once reacted aggressively softens. The hesitation that once delayed action disappears. You are no longer fragmented. You are integrated. Awareness and action aligned. Emotion and discipline balanced. Risk and calculation harmonized. Strategy and identity fused. You do not react. You respond. You do not chase. You position. Calm authority settles over you. It is not loud. It does not demand recognition. It simply exists. When you speak, people listen. When you decide, others align. When you adjust, momentum stabilizes. Because strategy is no longer effort. It is nature. You wake each day thinking in leverage. You communicate in alignment. You build in systems. You lead with composure. You adapt with intelligence. You endure with strength. This is the strategic identity. You are not attempting discipline. You embody it. You are not practicing awareness. You live it. You are not studying influence. You apply it. Listener affirmation. I am ready. Say it internally. I am ready. Ready to see clearly. Ready to think deeper. Ready to move deliberately. I rise. Feel the strength in it. I rise through pressure, through disruption, through challenge. I decide who I become. This is ultimate authority, not over others, over self. When you decide who you become, you direct trajectory. External circumstances lose dominance. You become architect, not passenger. See clearly, think deeper, move deliberately, win consistently. Relief phase now. Calm authority replaces intensity. Breathe steady, mind clear, heart grounded. You no longer chase success, you design it. You no longer fear uncertainty, you navigate it. You no longer react to opposition, you anticipate it. Old self fades completely, new self leads permanently. And from this moment forward, strategy is not something you remember to use. It is something you cannot stop using, because it is who you are. Say it clearly, one final time. I am ready. I rise. I decide who I become. And now you move, calm, focused, unstoppable. You are not the same thinker who began this journey. At the beginning, challenges felt overwhelming. Now they feel measurable. At the beginning, pressure felt personal. Now it feels tactical. At the beginning, uncertainty created hesitation. Now it invites calculation. You learn to pause. You learn to anticipate, you learn to position, you learn to hold silence, to measure risk, to adapt without losing direction. You stopped reacting emotionally. You started responding strategically. Feel that shift. It is subtle, but it is permanent. This is not surface motivation. This is transformation. There will still be obstacles. You will assess them. There will still be uncertainty. You will calculate it. There will still be pressure. You will stand firm. Because strategy is no longer something you practice. It is who you are. Pause. Imagine walking into your future. Calm, composed, respected. Rooms no longer intimidate you. Negotiations no longer intimidate you. Negotiations no longer unsettle you. People move emotionally. You move intelligently. People react quickly. You evaluate first. People chase momentum. You create it. Say it clearly. I am ready. I rise. I decide who I become. From this moment forward, you do not rush. You read the field. You do not chase success. You design it. You do not fear pressure. You use it. Stand tall. Breathe deeply. Think clearly. Move deliberately. And win consistently.